All right, everyone. All is here for the podcast and going, man.
What's up? You cut out again.
You cut out again.
Perfect. Just saying, I'm joined by you, Syntax. How's it going?
Good. I've been well. How have you been this past week?
You know, my roof started leaking, so having to get that taken
I
care of.
know how that is. I know how that is.
And tonight we are also by Alex Froyo, the CEO or director of
One of the three
CEA
directors.
One of the three directors, sorry, of CEAC, another collegiate league. So, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So,
Yeah.
we talked briefly before the podcast started. What we were hoping to get out of you is kind of the origin story.
Okay, so CA actually comes from what was the first collegiate Rainbow Six League. Like the first three directors, which were me, Albatross OP, and Wong. By the way, Wong's a great artist. He's the one that made our logo. We were brought in to a league called NAUSL. NAUSL was run by one AJ, who was it? NEU? No. He had his own company in the UK, and he was trying to reach out to collegiate sports or in the US to see if he could land something. And that was, I believe, in the spring of 2018. And the first tournament had a full team from Rochester Institute of Technology. And I forgot the other teams. It's been so long that it's been so long mainly because we've lost most of the records from that because AJ kept most of them. But there were a total of 4 or 5 teams, and Rochester Institute of Technology won the very first season. The very first season was like 4 or 5 teams. I got brought on as a caster, very bad caster. And I ended up finally graduating RIT myself because that's how I heard about NAUSL. And in my spare time, I realized that I would have some time to actually integrate myself into the admin team at NAUSL and try to see what was happening. NAUSL grew quite a bit. I think we ended up with above 20 or so teams for the second season with actual no mixed rosters or anything. It was really nice. But handbook wasn't really there. AJ started flip-flopping. He gave a lot of control to Albatross and promised to take care of a lot of the business side of NAUSL, but never actually did. This was in the middle of actually Ubisoft's first prodding into the collegiate scene to see if they could find some sort of competitive. I can talk about this because I wasn't part of any of the NDAs. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Works. Okay.
I know that CR6 was also in those talks, and we were in the talks, and we were both like front runners for it. But in the end, Ubisoft, for whatever reason, decided to not go with CR6, and when they approached us, the business side of NAUSL wasn't up to snuff. And so they just sort of shelved the idea for maybe a year, maybe 2. I know that I've heard rumors of some sort of return to like sniff out the scene, but not much more than that. So NAUSL ran an okay season. I was an admin, and I was the reschedule admin because in the handbook back then, you had to have 1 admin per match watching it, every single match. Which is when you're talking about trying to scale up to maybe 100, maybe 200 teams, that's not possible. You're not going to have enough admins to run that many teams. Right. So, yeah. Anyway, so I tried to run as many casts as possible. Sorry. I have my notes here. Give me a second, because it's a lot, and it's like it's a little bit emotional to me. Just mainly because of where that went and where all that work ended up going.
What was their reasoning behind having an admin, requiring an admin for each match?
So I came in right after the handbook. I came in as an admin right after the handbook had been released for that season, and I believe AJ's reasoning for it was that you needed to have that each admin was kind of like an umpire, and they wanted to make sure that every single match was run correctly, that there wasn't mess ups, and that we would have control of like the playlist and the rule sets and the settings. And so that was more or less his reasoning behind it. But as we quickly found out, you needed to have a lot of people to handle just 20, 30 teams week to week. And you couldn't set up and as I'll talk later about why we have a lax reschedule policy in CEA, you can't really set up college kids to play at the same time until varsity gets to be a real thing within esports. I know that it's starting to be a thing, but it's not quite up to snuff yet, and people just block out time to play esports.
Mhm.
Anyways, yeah. So the season went up. I think that Twitch channel reached about 550 viewers until Albatross brought in the rest of staff on what had been happening. Turns out he had been running most of the business things and most of the administrative things on his side because AJ had started to become scarce. Sorry. And he ended up planning with staff a sort of lifeboat where we would bring everyone over. In fact, the current CEA Twitch channel actually comes from what used to be our backup channel for NAUSL that we made ourselves. I actually had to remember the very obscure email that I put it under to reset the password recently, and that was a whole issue. But I got that
sounds
done.
like Collegiate Esports summed up as like the backups
Yeah.
are scribed somewhere in stone. Didn't think ever again.
Yeah, it really is. It's just so so AJ had been missing from a lot of meetings the entire season, and finally about a month and a half before we actually finished the season, he came into a staff meeting, heard everything Albatross was saying, like about what we were doing, what we could do better, blah blah blah. And then he told us to start winding things down, to stop promoting social media, to stop promoting the Twitch, and to pretty much just cool down the tournament, finish the season, and then he would reveal to us what was happening next. That sounded, yeah.
Doesn't sound like much of a reveal at that point.
Right?
No, to all of staff who had been working really hard up until that point, that sounded like a death sentence for the tournament.
Yeah.
And it's just we became a little bit annoyed at that, and lo and behold, the next Monday, once we started to try and still do some streams, try to push stuff on Twitter, we were locked out from all the social media accounts. He locked his entire staff out of all channels, out of being able to stream. He changed all the keys, and we kind of understood what was going on. So that lifeboat that Albatross had been building had to actually be finished by the time the season was done. So that was NAUSL. It went out in a spectacular fashion once AJ took the old Twitch channel and flipped it over to his own DJ brand and ended up actually annoying a lot of the people who had subscribed to that Twitch. That Discord actually kind of blew up with people adding him and just overall asking him, what are you doing? Why are you taking the Twitch like this? Blah, 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 and other things like that.
So he took this community that you guys had built up and then tried to convert it into his own promotional.
Yeah,
oh
it was.
That is some.
It's something you can only get in collegiate esports. Honestly, it's just like, oh, I don't want this anymore. I'm just gonna take all our handles and just flip them.
Oh man.
You can. It's still up on Twitch, but he hasn't been live 15 months. Yeah, 15 months.
Guessing the DJ career didn't take off.
Uh, anyways, that was NAUSL. We ran the first Collegiate Siege tournament, and during that whole time, Collegiate R6 was coming up and actually got pretty big because the other big name had just detonated itself, and CEA came to be. Although we kind of dropped the ball in our first season, I will say that. We came out very late with our signups, and we came out very late with what were our plans for the first season. But still, from the first 20 or so teams that season that showed faith in us, we grew season 2 to about 66. And I ended up actually finding a lot more staff members. Albatross unfortunately left, even though I see him as sort of a mentor for me for casting and a little bit on just getting things done. And around the 66 mark is where I got my other director, Pure Chaos, who handles the handbook, and my now Open League director, Calvrix, who handles a lot of the business units and actually is the one responsible for all of our sponsorships at the this season we have 160 teams, and I never thought we'd really hit this point again. I
160 teams. That's really impressive. That's almost on par with the main collegiate league. And
I know CR6's last season was 211 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that their current plans are 128 teams for this season. They've actually scaled back, oddly enough. I'm not quite sure what that's about.
I don't know if it's. I don't think they scaled back. I think a lot of teams are ditching them.
Oh, okay. All right. That would explain some of the flow that we've seen. So, CEA Spring Season 2020. We have gone with a massive change to Invite League and tried to run the more or less the same structure we had for Open League last season. Invite League is now 16 teams. We increased the number because we saw an increase in the teams of Open, and we realized there's a better way to represent the talent pool here. And if we keep Invite League to just the 10 teams that we were planning, we'll never hit that. 16 teams is a little bit better. We'll see if 144 teams in Open make us expand again. Invite. If not, we'll see what we're doing. But Invite League has moved to a format where it's almost NFL-like with how we do brackets. We have 4 divisions of 4 teams in Invite. They'll play the first 3 weeks within their division, and then they'll play outside of their division twice against teams that are similarly ranked, and then come back and play the same 3 teams again. It's a little bit more interactive, a little bit more interesting. We found that last season there wasn't a lot of interaction between Invite teams that were in different divisions. Like, yeah, they could scrim, but that's not really a competitive aspect to wanting to play them. You're going to practice. You're not going to actually try to go for the win there. And
out of your division, your power outside of down in record, actually have to battle back with it. Excited. How the rankings.
Yeah, so that's Invite League. Invite League is the one that we focus a lot on. We've realized that Twitch likes good matchups. Twitch, the only real reason that people will want to tune into a game of Rainbow Six is they don't really want to see, I don't know, EG wipe some CL qualifier team. That'll just be a 7-0. That'll be just, done way too soon. There's no emotion in it. There's no story. There's no that moment of just like clarity once a game actually goes 6-7 and somebody comes out on top. There's none of that if you watch an easy. So try to focus more on our streams on our invite league, but we still feature open league games here and there. You know, it's going to be a bit hard to pick out of 62 games every week which open league team gets streamed, but we've pretty much left it up to them who wants to get streamed. They call dibs. We have a dibbing system. It's a little silly, but honestly, at the point, go on.
Because aren't ready. Don't want for matches. It opens club. They want as tough as drive your in part of the game. I actually really like having a volunteer.
But that's more or less how we run. This season we have a $4,000 prize pool total across both open and invite. $3,000 for invite, $1,000 for open. I don't remember the exact split up between first and second for each one, but I could open a handbook, but I think that would break up the flow here.
No, is it $4,000 like cash for the team, or is it $4,000 like worth of prizes?
I'm going to say worth of prizes because that's easier than having to say how the Corsair part of the prize pool splits up. Because I believe it's gift cards. I believe Amazon gift cards, and it's not. I wasn't quite sure about it at first, but Calvrix explained it to me, and it just works.
Were you guys able to get Corsair to sponsor this and give you guys gift cards, or are you as a league paying out of pocket to provide these prizes?
Most of the prizing is actually coming out of the pocket of Calvrix. This in and of itself is what she wanted to have as a responsibility. I was helping a little bit, but my financial situation's kind of taken a downturn a little bit, so I'm not contributing at all this season. I contributed the past 2 seasons before that, just because I believed in what I was building and I believed in the community, and I also believe that yeah, you can play a tournament all day, but if isn't really a prize, you're just not going to take it seriously, and the kind of competitive aspect that I also wanted to promote within the community wouldn't be there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, we are officially sponsored by Corsair.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an actual sponsorship. If you tune into our streams, it'll say in the top right or the top left, powered by Rogue Energy, Corsair, and NEU, which is going to be sponsoring the merch shop for CEA. We'll have that out maybe end of February, early March. It's moved up a lot.
That's linked on
Rogue Energy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like to have sponsors and growing at
I like to believe that CEA's foundation is in how it's just literally run by volunteers and people who just want to make the space better. I believed that Siege was really missing that aspect. Like you'll see Pro League growing, but there's not much support from Ubisoft themselves into the scene for Collegiate, and I honestly have to feel like they're kind of missing something if they're not pushing this, because like the fact that CR6 had 200 teams. Now we have 160 teams. There is the love there for the game. I think Ubisoft just needs to push into it and leverage it.
I mean, I think you're Riot is Activision Blizzard. They've got tested all of their
Is Riot a U.S. company?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're owned by Tencent.
Yeah.
Based.
Okay, I think the reason Ubisoft is hesitant on leveraging colleges is because they're not American. So how can they, sit there and leverage, American universities when they live in a different country, I mean, albeit it's Canada, it's still North American, but still a different country.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely definitely plays a factor about variously Canadian schools have been outed and educated. That is what we see. There's a business way around it. There is precedent run something like that, and especially because there's people trying, but no one's actually directly interact with them. But back to think that League of Legends is a big
Yeah.
And also, I think they might be waiting, with all these, leagues popping up. I think they're trying to see which one comes out on top as the dominant league and everyone starts migrating towards. And once this dominant league gets established, I think that's when Ubisoft will be like, hey, we'll support you. As soon as like there's, that dominant league that everybody goes to.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of my work the past, what is it, 8 months, 7-8 months ago, I realized that I needed to stop trying to burn myself out to keep the league up and instead shift focus onto actually trying to bring in talent, bring in people that could do the jobs that I can't do. I'm an engineer by trade. Like I fully graduated RIT, no business perspective at all. I'm actually an engineer by day, director by night, which is like a very odd thing to say because 3 years ago I never would have thought of being here in this position. But I've realized that you can't build a community without actually leaning into said community. Because that community, if you don't lean into it and if you're not open about the needs of what you want to fill out and what you want to do, you won't grow much out of it. I went, hey, I need admins. People will pipe up and be like, hey, okay, I'll come in, I'll handle tickets, I'll handle giving people rulings. Hey, I need somebody to do stats. I got Jerry, aka Wonderflow, who does our stats. He's really good at it, and he's actually Canadian. He's part of the Canadian scene, esports scene. He's just completely revamped all of our outward facing statistics to the point where players are just like always psyched to hear when he updates a sheet and they go and check the KDs. Blah. I go, we don't really have anybody who can do rulings. Pure shows up. Pure is an FRC referee. He knows how they've written their rules. He knows how to actually enforce them. He knows how to set it up so that people understand the basic rules and they understand that they can actually help us self-moderate as well. We built... Sorry? Oh, First Robotics. Like First Robotics competitions. Yeah. Yeah. then FRC is also like a mostly volunteer run organization, and I like to believe that that's more or less where we're headed, mainly because I don't think you come into esports without having a love of it, and I don't think you come into esports without wanting to help grow the space. Without that love, and with only like a perspective of wanting to just make money out of it, you're not going to get very far. Because I kind of believe what Mark Cuban said, and it's that all that time you've spent building an organization, you could have spent, researching a business degree, and then afterwards gotten more value out of it by then creating your organization after having gotten that business degree. Like, the value isn't there yet. The value right now is in getting experience with the community, getting experience with trying to build something to get to that organization.
That's so get to 100. Definitely direction where you want to be. Signs of kind of taking the.
I really do believe we've taken the lead, and I'm not going to take credit for it because I want to give credit to the staff of Collegiate Esports Association. I want to give credit to Calvrix and Kitsune Keira, who did a lot of the groundwork of just going around and talking to teams about joining us. I want to give a shout out to even Bohoja from George Mason University, who gave me tips about starting our social media and trying to push the brand in some way. I want to give shout outs to Wong, who made our wonderful branding, which gives us our very distinct look, which definitely turns heads. I want to give a shout out to the stats department run by Jerry, aka Wonderflow, who are just pretty much running the show in the back end, just managing all those registrations over such a tool that probably was never made for this. Like, we're using the Google suite of of like forms, sheets, docs, drive, everything to try and run something that our competitors are running through Battlefy, through Tournament, through Challenge, and it's impressive that we've gotten it to this point.
Yeah, after I've followed some other Battlefy and haven't been impressed as trying to spectate, trying to wasn't. So I could totally understand. Actually,
It honestly just takes like a few talented people to turn the Google Suite into something that is manageable and will convey all of the information that you need for your players. At the moment, our website basically just links to all those sheets. Those sheets show what schools are playing, what division they're in, who's playing on those teams very easily. You can go on that website and you can find all of the information on other schools, as well as the standings.
And as someone who was a player in a league and now is a spectator in a league, I'll give you one piece of advice is that I think what really draws people into a league is production value. Um, like the prize is great and entices competition and all that stuff, but like what made the league fun and like want us to come back is the fact that like, um, social media
Mm-hmm.
interaction, like promotional videos of like, hey, like make like a finals montage or like a semifinals, all the teams that are coming in and like footage from their matches and stuff like that. It just made it really fun and entertaining to watch, and um, it also allows the spectators like myself and Joe to go in and actually catch a lot of that stuff and see actually what's going on and keep up with from the outside without having to speak to someone on the inside that only knows that information, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. People like streams, people like getting shown up, people like, getting featured.
Mhm.
And I actually built from the ground up our entire production suite. The overlay that you see during our streams, I built it from the ground up with Wong. He made all the graphics. I pushed them all. I modified them here and there to fit everything. And let's see, Calvrix herself has been trying to get more videos out, which are just literally focusing on the great plays of the week that we see on stream. We, at the beginning of the season, definitely featured some of them spicier plays that we had last season, just to announce that we were opening this everything up. And honestly, our entire process at the moment is to try and give players that sort of image out there, because like they'll be able to. Okay, I want to tackle this from another perspective. So we have the production value, but we also have a very open policy on letting players stream themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But if a player goes ahead and, for example, tags us in the fact that they're playing and they tag their Twitch, we immediately retweet that.
Okay.
That's one small thing we do. If they give us clips that they were really good at a play, we try to add that into our montage. We try to interact with them in any way possible. Like we ask our viewers, help us make our jobs easier. Clip every good play you see on stream. Clip everything you see, and we assure you it'll make it into a montage. Because every clip that people makes our job easier to go back and try to feature.
Yeah, that was one thing that CR6 did for a while in season 1 that actually we really liked. At first, anyways, it was they had like a clip set, like text channel section in their Discord where people could upload clips, and they take those clips and make a little YouTube video of, like, the top 10 plays of the week. They come out with a video each week, right? But then it got to the point where they were only showing clips from like the top like 3 teams. It's like, okay, well, there's no point in submitting clips anymore if they're just going to only show the top 3 teams. So, I mean, but it was fun while it lasted, before the bias came in. So, I mean, that may be a fun thing for you guys to take into consideration.
Yeah, I know exactly the editor who made those videos. She's the one making our community highlight videos now. Funny how that goes. She was making the videos at NAOSL as well, and she got, scooped up for that season. I like to believe that as long as she's handed good clips, she does good work. There's a reason why we keep coming back to her.
Mm-hmm.
I believe her tag is Vixento. She does great work. And
Vixento with an X or with a C?
With an X.
An X, okay.
Yeah. But
talked a little bit earlier and let you know that we've been at it for 30 minutes. Time flies, having fun. So I wanted to bring it down, let you have a chance to catch your breath. 1 mile a minute. Awesome. There's so much value in what you've been saying, but let's give you a chance to catch your breath. And then sponsor whoever's out there who
okay. CA Siege is more about the players. CA Siege is focused on trying to make collegiate esports as accessible a space as possible. To that end, our policies for rescheduling are easy. Our handbook is easy to understand, and we try to be responsive. We try to be responsive, fair, and we try to listen to the community whenever there is some rule that doesn't make them. we won't skimp out on sending out surveys. We won't skimp out on, hey, is the stream not good? Okay, just give us some feedback. We'll try to adjust it. We don't shy away from criticism, and we don't shy away from trying to create a space where people not only can enter, but also they can get as much out of it as they put in. I've had people who have met their Challenger League qualifier teams inside of CEA. And they've gone to Go Force, they've gone to physical tournaments, and it's because we've been able to make that space. We've built something here that can really tie together the Collegiate R6 community. It's something that I think anybody would like to be a part of, because personally, I can't see myself shying away emotionally. It's actually something that's given me so much. It's definitely giving me anxiety. Don't get me wrong, but it's also giving me so much confidence in what I've built. It's given me so much confidence that I'm a person that people look up to, but also it's given me confidence that a good community can exist within this space, to the point where we're all here for the game. We're all here to try and be friends, but we're also all here for the competitive aspect. Sorry, that
Might have been an elevator pitch for a 30-floor building, but it still did the job.
Again, I would like to apologize. I'm engineer by trade. I put words to what I believe in. I'm bad at giving like actual monetary value or any other sort of value to something. If I believe that something is the right way to build something, you bet I'm going to go down that path, and I'm going to go down on a warpath.
I actually have one final question for you. What do you hope to get out of this league, and like what is your end game? Like what is your goal for this league?
So I've actually mulled that over that the past couple months. To me, I come from Brazil, where there's a little bit of stigma on like, oh, low or high ping players, they're like really disruptive, there's no communities there, blah blah blah. And I usually had a few different communities that I migrated through, and they all sort of fell apart after a while because people just got fed up with trying to maintain them. And to me, the end game was just to build a community that can sustain itself, and then possibly I would leave, because I trust in the foundation of it. I consider myself an outsider to collegiate esports, not only because I've already graduated from college, but also because I don't see an actual future career for myself in it. I only exist in the space to try and build said community. Once said community to me is standing on its own two legs, I'll probably exit. That's the end game for me, because I've been tired of just seeing things just crumble. I want to give something a good foundation and then see it grow on its own.
Okay. So essentially, you want to leave a legacy of some sort.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to leave a legacy that defines itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's his wow for your time. Why don't you
Yep.
link list of links? Cut out and bed.
Let's see. How do you want me? Do you want me to put it through the chat or?
That out loud. That's
Okay. I'm. Yeah.
Nightbot is going putting links out, so
Oh.
I will share any links on social media afterwards.
Well, I want to pitch the casiege.com website that has all the information on the tournament. I want to pitch, well, just my Twitter and my Twitch, because those are actually just DukeCarge. Those are easy to find. And other than that, think there's anything else. I don't think I want to pitch my LinkedIn. That's for a different career.
Fair enough. All right,
All
Alex.
right.
Thanks for coming out. Definitely appreciate history and goals. Looking forward to watching some a lot of really talented forward to this. Forward to some good matches. Putting in the time and the effort to put it together.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. Have a good night.
See you later.
All right.
Have it. That's exciting.
You know, that was interesting what he said about, he wants to build a community that's sustaining itself. Normally, like, I would say that's a little dangerous. You want to build something, for your, you want to build your own empire, right? But honestly, like, I think that's actually pretty beneficial towards the collegiate community, because obviously not everyone's going to be staying in college, and so if you build this collegiate empire, or this league empire up, and then you can find a suitable successor, pass it down to him, and then he builds it up even more, then he finds a successor, then he passes it down as well. I think that would be a pretty good idea.
Have Akron.
Hmm. Yeah.
Charge. I don't think bad thing. For House out. Great. House after him.
Hmm.
All of these SL. But like the fact that came, don't remember.
Was that a siege? Was that a
Yeah.
siege league? NAUSL?
So
That's interesting.
like it's weird that never came to Congress. Has no line, like couldn't Rainbow Six have it pop up as like top one. That's kind of
Hmm.
that there's
Also, I think it's might be a little due to that one guy totally wiping out their legacy for his for his
his
obviously
DJ career.
successful DJ career. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
What a man,
Yeah.
that's the worst. Just some snake is in your company and then like kicks everyone out, so then he can turn it into a jeez.
But now I'm really excited. I'm so Alex had that story because that's that's partly why I started your podcast. Somebody now. No one was who was going like, oh, here's the club, but no one outside of the college club. El Collegiate massive, right? But then
Hmm.
still those early years that would have been long backing this. So there, but now that I can dig in, other people were from back then. Find out. Maybe I find the DJ guy and like, what the hell? Like that becomes part of collegiate rainbow history.
Yeah.
And like back to 2000, like reality FGC going on, unless someone had a handheld recorder was recording off of their Razor phone, like there's no history whatsoever. So
Mhm.
for me, part of it starting conversation, the history. Now that I have that chunk hungry, I gotta go story down. I have to save this RSL or CR6 that ends in R, whatever that gets us document back on. This is how that started. So game in the flow that. Doubt that this is
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. Maybe somewhere in the future, if this is large enough, they'll start a documentary on how esports and these like collegiate leagues and how they started, and who knows, maybe a story will come down about this league.
exactly. So I that story alone got me really about rainbows, really collegiate sports in general. 'Cause that history, that's an old story. But I did want to talk about the RSL trials. So college Rainbow Six, different league than who we're talking to. This is already running. This is the latest season on trials, which qualifying. Already done two. Still register for that. So go do that. Top four winner trial actually qualifies to go 32, top 37 of these, 8 of these trials,
Hmm.
top four group. That becomes White League opportunity. Qualifier cups grow inside of them. Why? Or like the ever variety grow and up to matches that might that team. Excited about that. Okay, nice. Okay, so Warwick, Auburn University, Louisiana State University, Wisconsin Red. Then we have Charger Blue, the University of Alabama, Texas San Antonio, of Utah. Group stage, 32. That's to the matches I can pull by you. That team, great job. Definitely could. Chargers Blue. They were in the good long. Recognized Warwick, though that was not last prior. LSU, common name. followed every Auburn been around, so I have some power behind.
That's
So,
good. So you're reading off the.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I say you're reading off the list of teams that are going through the trials right now.
So those were the already won the from each second one, but the third trial coming up. I would try and track the team second trial where the first one. Try and hopefully next how it broke down. I, the cream of the crop really, but if the prize win, definitely want to.
I'm really curious. Does it happen to say how many teams are in CRSL? I want to see how they're doing compared to CEA. They don't have like
5 teams.
65 teams. Okay, so that's okay. So they're not nearly as high as CEA that I thought. Okay.
But the one call out one I really like, their Twitch channels production. The team ran production last spring. Highlight all of the stream coming online soon and playing trailer for it. Put that all together. The head of RSL was the head of production of R6. They were doing all that. So
Okay.
Liked what they have reported. Go in the rule like a recent policy. They're even on SR trials. Turning over the Amuk have all for their team try and take trials. Problem there. That ultimate better ability, but we own an entire league to ourselves.
Yeah, I know. If I remember correctly, I think Tamu is planning on doing all of the leagues this year or this season. What I mean is, I don't mean like one team is doing one league. I mean like the main team is doing all of the leagues.
Registered Texas Rune. Then they
Yeah, that's the main team.
Black from College State.
A&M Black. Is that correct?
Texas University College Station. So a satellite school.
Well, I mean, no. College Station is where our university is.
Have a different.
Oh, Black. Okay, no, we do have a Black team. I'm sorry, I had to go look at the Discord real quick. I forgot they renamed all the teams. So, Yeah, we've got here. Let me tell you the team names we have. We have Maroon, White, Black, and Academy. Don't ask me where they came up with that random name, but
So Academy and Wizard playing for.
yeah, I think either they are forming their team currently, um, or they're doing another league. I think could be.
And are
Has anything
they
changed?
they haven't started yet.
Oh, the other A&M guys were telling me that CR6 plans on doing everything exactly the same as last season.
Yep. So phase
So
0
like,
registration.
which makes no sense.
Yep.
Uh,
So then phase 1 is 4, where all the teams are starting to get their original. Then plus relegations going to be relegation
mm-mm.
really
And
is
honestly,
yeah.
like, is they're doing everything the same, and which means they're starting over. So like the teams that made the invite league, like, what was the point of making that league last season if
Was it
everyone's
Premier
starting
League?
over? Yeah, and also when they were doing things during playoffs is like, what's the point of working your ass off to get into invite league if they're just going to relegate teams from the open from like the open division into invite? It's like, well, where's the sense in that? Like where's the accomplishment in making invite league if you're just going to bring these teams that didn't make it up into the league?
So Tamu tank is enough to get into like the 6th seat and then just ride it all the way back. Take out number 1, like we're better than you, failed everything on purpose, and everyone. I
Just
don't know.
a planned sabotage.
No, I wouldn't be.
Honestly, that's some big brain stuff that even if I was the league director, I wouldn't even be mad at.
The one thing that I found, I was prepared for this.
CR6.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they are going downhill with the league's rules literally being copy and paste of last season. Uh, no website anymore. I, someone's just riding the coattails, and I don't know. It sounds like a sinking ship, a slowly sinking ship. Maybe they're going through change in management or something. I don't know.
yeah.
But
Like I knew obviously they didn't have a website there right now. I'd go into they had on there. But then when doing less teams because migrating away, that's 2 strikes. Then hearing Alex, I'm cool. What we'll see. Then I'm questioning my team have to work hard just to be relegated again. That's, but I mean, outside of I guess the NFL games like get a difficult next year. But, I mean, draft, uh, not many affected depending on how well they do outside of kind of their perspective. Professional, traditional, win a league, everyone resets down to 0.
yeah,
But I agree with the way that they have everything doesn't make.
yeah.
And that's really it for Car 6. Registration goes through February 14th. 4 weeks. Do break finals. That's a last two. Hopefully they'll
Here's to hoping.
probably go. I haven't presence on, so
Yeah,
down at this.
a lot of the teams, beginning of this week, everyone's in travel. So like there's really everyone's just been kind of packing and getting ready and then flying, from wherever they are in the world to Montreal. And then yesterday and Wednesday they had media day, where they do all their pictures and videos and promotional stuff
Arm
that
cross.
they usually do. Yeah. And so I think, what is the start of next week? Yeah, I think they will boot camp. I don't know if they'll boot camp through the weekend. They could. They'll probably boot camp through the weekend and all the way until Thursday, the 13th, because then the actual tournament starts on the 14th. So,
Valentine's Day. Hey baby,
yeah.
box of chocolates. Let's watch some Rainbow Six.
Yeah. What I am excited for though is on so they're doing all the seasonal reveals on Saturday instead of Sunday this go around. Um, so I saw a tweet from Parker and Taro saying that I guess he got a sneak peek into like what they are revealing on Saturday, and he said that they like people are going to be blown away with like the amount of stuff that they're going to be talking about. So I'm really excited to see what they have to say on Saturday because I really hope that um, they change some things, and I like to be totally honest, and I think I speak for everyone in the game when I say that like I would rather see them um, reveal stuff about how they're fixing things and improving things rather than adding content. As much as I love new content, like I would rather see them like saying, "Hey, like we're revamping like the debris system, so there's no more client side debris." Which has been since day one. Like I don't understand like why this is still a thing. I melee a window barricade and that piece of wood falls right there. And like, okay, like what was the point of that if I can't even see out of it? uh, I
That'll
can't
be
tell
a
you how
nice
many.
fix.
I can't tell you how many times it's gotten me killed because the guy on the other side of the window doesn't see that piece of debris that I just hit, but I do. So like he can see me, but I can't see him. That's why it's called client side debris for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, I mean, from my playing game, developing game, things like bring people not character addicts about access practicing, having a stable server, having accessibility on down your graphic, those kind. Then of course have a playing.
hmm It's just a simple quality over quantity. Like I would rather have a quality game versus a ton of content for a really crappy made game. Uh,
Don't
um,
it unless you got anything.
no, but I am. I am a little bummed at how badly TSM beat Dark Zero. Those
Rough
I
to
was what was that on the 27th of January? Yeah.
yeah,
Yep, I
that
was
was
excited to see that.
lacking.
I was getting ready. I had my popcorn ready. I was ready for a fight, and it was just a one-sided beating, unfortunately.
I mean, a number of those rounds could have gone the other way. One instant favor, but what happens when I play D&D? I probably roll like 3 or 4 critical fails, like back to back to back, and like that's how I felt watching that. Like, oh, I'm going to RP play, roll. Well, that's round lost. Done.
Yeah, they rolled too many snake eyes every round. So
Yeah, there was no love in that. I was I was frightened. I was watching it on the butt. Like, oh no, no, come on, turn it around. We can turn it around. You can't turn it around. Turn it off.
I was pulling my hair out in some instances, but then like sometimes you gotta step back and realize that, especially like when watching Pro League, it's like, people sitting here watching the game, they're like, "Oh, this team is crap." They're like, "I could have done this, this, and this better." It's like, well, you're a spectator. You can see everyone else's position. It's different watching the game versus actually being in the match. Like, in the match, you're focused on talking to your team and doing all this stuff, and you don't know where the enemies are. As a
Right.
spectator, you can see the outlines of all the enemies, and people forget that. Obviously, you can formulate different strategies because you can see the enemies. These guys playing, they can't. So,
Yeah, I love how that is a reminder across like every league, Rainbow Six, Fortnite, everyone. The players can't the outlines know that that other person is that person hiding in the bushes. They have no vision there. League, they'll toggle the camera visions, and players can do that, or but
mhm.
it has to be out every. Why aren't you firing? There,
There is one player I remember. I forgot what his name was in Siege. He used to kill people. He used to wallbang a lot of people in Pro League based off of the crowd's noise level. Um,
no,
have
but
you ever, if you've ever been to a LAN event, right? Everyone in the audience can see the outlines of all the enemies, right? Well, like if you're watching, people scan and like see one guy on the other side of a barricade, but you don't know that. The crowd's like, oh my god, going crazy, and he would listen for that, and then he would start shooting and like kill people because the crowd was going nuts because he was aimed at a certain point of the wall. Uh, yeah, it was
that's great.
like that is insanely smart. But I don't know if that's grounds for cheating or what, or just an exploit they can't really do anything about. But
I don't know if it's the same with all. No, Heroes of the they had to wear noise game head. They were wearing headset.
oh, they do too. Siege, like they wear in-ear headphones for the game noise, for the game sound, and then they wear noise canceling headphones on top of the earbuds.
And you could
But well, you can also see the crowd too. So like, some players, play with their monitor super close and super down, so like they can still see over the top of their monitor. So like, you can still feel the crowd's noise. Like it's not like
oh, that's
even if you can't hear, you can still feel the noise and you can still see like them going nuts. So it's like it's not impossible.
so this.
Yeah, unless you have anything else, I think that's about it for me.
Oh, I'm excited. Yes,
Hmm.
once again, third time. parts are on the way. Will be shortly. So
Oh,
glitchy static in my head because they are maxed out all the problems. So we'll be fixing static, but get that.
I don't hear it.
That's good. It's the only other for anyone who's R6 Ghost System. Boston, College East, where I'm get in contact with everyone, make some podcasts, make some one talking my podcast, other interviews. If you're at College Expo or even PAX East, day before PAX East, at Warlocker Call on Twitter and try and meet up. I'm going to be looking for you, and I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of pre-PAX parties going. So, hit.
All right, sounds good.
I will. Press L.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Later.